Soul Simmers, and welcome to a brand new speed build video. Today we are not just building any house, we are actually building the house for my brand new Let's Play. The episodes will start next week and it's not just any Let's Play. I asked you guys a couple of weeks back whether you guys would like to see more CC videos, whether you would like to see more speed builds, more gameplay on the channel, and you guys all came through and said that you would like to see more gameplay on the channel, so I figured why not actually make it happen. So I started thinking what I would like to play on the channel because I tried the 100 baby challenge like long ago when I first started out, and that challenge didn't really speak to me. I don't know, it felt more like chores than actually playing the game, and maybe I'm just not the type to have so many toddlers and babies in the house. I wasn't really enjoying that gameplay too much, so that's why I decided to end that challenge back then. However, I do really like the idea of playing the game on this channel because I do really love to play The Sims. I mean, you might notice it from me having a Sims channel on YouTube. I do really love this game, I do really love to play it, so I figured if I'm gonna be playing with a brand new legacy challenge, I need to figure out what I would like to do. And one thing is that I bought all of the Sims packs, like I own all of them, but a lot of them I never really got to play through because when I originally bought them, I bought them for the build buy items. When I started playing this game, like a lot, I usually just build, and it is only with my streaming on Twitch and with my creating on YouTube that I started to play the game more. And I figured why not do something where I do all of the gameplay in all of the packs, because there are so many of them that I've never really played through. And I think that's kind of a shame because so many of the packs have so many awesome features that I've not ever tried. So I figured, why not see if I could write my own legacy challenge? So that's what I did. Over the past few weeks, I've been writing a brand new legacy challenge that I will be playing on this channel. I will make sure to share all of the information in the actual first episode as well, because I know that not everyone might watch this speed build. Because it isn't obviously a Let's Play or a Legacy episode, but I will include it in the playlist of the Legacy challenge that I will be making on the YouTube. I plan on doing weekly videos. It obviously depends on my schedule and what I can handle, but I'm very excited about this one because I made so many cool like starter stories, small things that I want to build on. I'm very excited. I will also make it public. I think I will link it down in this video. I'm not sure, I might wait a little bit until the actual first episode is out as well, but then I will make sure to link it all through so that you guys can either download the PDF file with all the information or you can check it out on my information page. I'll make sure that you guys can access it, so if you guys want to play along, feel free to play along. But that's what we're building today. We are actually building the house for the first generation. And the first generation is going to be Outdoor Retreat. The reason I started with Outdoor Retreat is simply because it was the first expansion or game pack that ever came out for this game. I tried to do most of them on like chronological order, but in some cases I swapped them around a little bit just for the sake of the storylines because I couldn't really figure out how to go from one generation to the other. And the whole idea is that if you play this challenge, you can skip generations if you don't own a pack. The full challenge right now, including up until werewolves, has 24 generations. So if you don't own all the packs, you can still play this challenge. You will have to maybe, you know, get a little bit creative with the changes between the generations because I do try to refer to the previous generation and like make it a whole storyline. But you can totally play along if you don't own all the packs. For stuff packs and stuff, I kind of like added them where it was relevant, but you are allowed to use all of the packs in every generation. It's just the emphasis in every generation is on a certain pack. And this first pack is this first generation will be Outdoor Retreat, and it will be a hopelessly romantic sim trying to find the love of their life while just enjoying being in nature, traveling around. You will do a lot of fishing. That's kind of what I'm setting up here. I'm doing like the little, you know, the little car with all of the fishing supplies in the back. The whole idea around the house was that I kind of wanted to go for a cabin feel, but not too cabiny, because I kind of wanted to save that for the actual holiday home in Outdoor Retreat, like in Granite Falls. So this house is kind of inspired on a Scandinavian modern cabin that is also just a house. I tried to, as you could have seen in the beginning, I tried to go for like a darker, maybe, you know, more oak wood kind of feel, but I realized that I'm like a sucker for lighter wood. I love the whole Scandinavian look, Also with the red door, I think I end up changing it to yellow because it matched a little bit better on the inside, but the whole vibe that I'm going for here is just a little bit that lighter Scandinavian look with the colors. And then on the inside, you will see later that I will do a little bit of kind of like a reused aesthetic. So not all of the furniture will be new. It is a starter home. I end up going to like 33,000. I tried to make it 20,000, but I just decided that I would go and give myself a little bit of money in the beginning of the challenge. Money cheats are allowed in this legacy challenge, so I thought, why not just take advantage of this rule anyway? I just really wanted to make sure that this house looks nice and that I want to play in it. In the beginning, I was also really struggling with picking a wallpaper and like figuring out how many floors I wanted to do. At some point, you see me realize that I am going to use CC. I have said this so many times to myself. It's like, if I'm gonna do a Let's Play on YouTube, I already do it on Twitch when I'm doing my Not So Berry challenge. I want to make sure that I can use CC because I have so many videos on CC on this channel, and I very rarely upload builds with CC because it's impossible for other people to download, and therefore I don't play with CC as much as I would have liked to. So I was like, why not just add it to this challenge? Why not just go ahead and make this a super CC build? Unfortunately, that means that if you're playing along with the challenge, you won't be able to download this house yourself. I have made a smaller version, like a starter home. It is completely different from what you see here, but it only uses the base game and outdoor retreat, and it is technically a starter home that you could use for this generation. I think I will do this for every generation and try to see if I can like a base game and a pack only version of the build. So if you guys want to play along but you're not much of a builder, you can just skip ahead and like download one of the builds that I made. For this one, I'm very excited that I can finally build with CC again because it was such a long time ago that I did that. As you can see, I did all of the landscaping now. I tried to keep it a little bit simple, but still, you know, add some nice plants, some nice stones, like the little stepping stones and stuff, just to give the build a little bit more character. And right now I'm trying to figure out the floor plan. And in the beginning, I thought that I needed to add a ladder because the house would be too small. But at some point I realized that I would have plenty of room to just add stairs, that the upper floor was big enough for a 2-person bed to still fit in if I used some stairs. So that's what I tried to figure out here. And now I'm just seeing if I can make the floor plan work, like make it make sense. I'm trying to pick some flooring, some wallpaper. I will change this around like a couple of times because at the beginning I wasn't really quite sure. When I made this house, I didn't make a sim yet. So I didn't have my starter sim. I didn't know whether it was gonna be like an older person. I didn't know whether it was gonna be a boy or a girl. I had absolutely no idea of the vibe or aesthetic of the sim that I was gonna make for this generation. So I think when I'm gonna play with this, I might end up changing like some things to make it fit a little better with the sim that I made. It's the sim that you can see in the thumbnail of this video. He is super cute, but you know, especially the bedroom that you can see later is maybe not 100% what you might expect with this sim. I do like the idea of the different elements that I tried to put in this house. So this generation will be a fisher, so I tried to incorporate some of those elements like the blue from the ocean or the blue from the water, some fish elements. I also tried to incorporate like the refurbished or you know, like kind of a sim with a higher handiness skill, trying to make their own furniture from what they find. A sim that is like in touch with nature, trying to recycle. I did not use eco-living or anything because I want to try to keep it as authentic as possible to outdoor retreat and just that pack. But I did like the idea of this sim also living like an environmentally conscious life, being a sim that really loves to go out in nature. So that's what I tried to incorporate here and there as well. This house is like, it looks good, but it's not perfect. There is, as you can see, like the tiles in the kitchen are a little bit cracked. This sim is still working on this house, you know, and I really like that idea that we get that room for improvement as well. If we're playing with this challenge and our sim has made like a little bit of money, we can upgrade the house as we go. If we want to, obviously we can also just keep the aesthetics of this house like a little bit more run down in a way, and I kind of like that as well. I think it's the werewolves, it's the pack that just came out. It's kind of getting to me, it's inspiring me in all of my builds right now. So it happened here as well. But as you can see right now, the bathroom and the kitchen are really white. I will end up changing this because I felt like it was too white, especially considering the sort of more natural and wood-toned colors that I will do in the rest of the house. I felt like it didn't really match, but I tried to keep it as simple as possible, and that's why in the beginning I went for the white. I'm really glad in the end that I changed that because it looks cozier, and I mean, I do really enjoy it if my houses that I end up playing in have a little bit of a cozy vibe to it. I feel like that always makes me more inclined or like happier to play with it. So that's what I tried to do. I also made a dedicated dining room. That is definitely something that I don't always do. I think it is something that I thought might be fun to try in this build because we had this little spare room on the side that I didn't want to get rid of because of the outside of the house, but also I didn't really have a purpose for when I was decorating this house. So I was just like, what if I add a dining room? Usually I just have the dining table somewhere in the living room, which is apparently very Dutch of me. We always have this. Our kitchens and our living rooms and dining rooms are always kind of open. We don't have a separate dining space. But I was like, now that we have it here, why not use it? And I think as we play along with the challenge, we might end up making this into like a small bedroom. If we have kids or anything during the, like playing this with this save, we can totally make this into an extra bedroom and just add the dining table somewhere else in the house. I think we should totally be able to do that. As you can see, I also try to incorporate some of the fishing aspects since this sim is a fisher, so we have the big mural in the dining area as well. And now I'm just trying to figure out the living room. I'm trying to see the color scheme that I want to go for. As you can see, I don't really have a color scheme or a theme in this house. I did not do that intentionally, but I think I really like how it turned out because it kind of adds to that whole, this is my first house, my first, furniture, everything. So I don't necessarily have furniture that all matches together. It still has that cozy vibe, but it is not like everything is super sleek or comes from the same set. It's kind of like I just got what I could afford, or I used what I already had or someone was able to give to me. And I feel like that's kind of realistic for a sim that is a starter, especially for a legacy challenge, because later on in the legacy challenge, we might have more money and we would be able to decorate a nice house. But right now, I feel like this generation with the profession that the sim also will have, which is a fisherman, probably they won't have too much money. So I feel like it makes sense for them to have a little bit of a cheaper house. And one of the good things is if you use CC, you can always go for like the options that still look good but are not too expensive. That's like one of my main favorite reasons to use CC, is that I really enjoy the fact that things are not as expensive as they are with the Maxes or like the EA ones, but they look a ton better, and that's just always really convenient. Here I'm trying to add some more details, like add a fishbowl. I thought it might be funny along the challenge that we can actually save some fish that look pretty. I know that we're gonna have to complete the fishing collection, so I think we can add to that wall, have some more fish come up as we play. For now, I just put a guitar. I was like, another skill building item to keep our sim busy, especially in early gameplay. It's always a little bit hard to keep your sims busy because they don't have a job right away. You can put them like behind the computer, but I felt like it kind of made sense for a sim that loves nature, loves to explore, love to eventually go camping, to also have a guitar and like, at some point do a session with the guitar around the campfire, anything. This is where I'm changing the color of the kitchen because I realized that it was too white, especially since I went for a little bit of the darker colors in the living room. I tried to make the living room a little bit darker. The kind of thing that I tried to do on the outside and didn't work, I ended up trying to do it on the inside, doing a little bit of the darker browns. Again, as a Dutchie, not many of us have very dark and brown furniture or wallpaper, so this is always kind of an aesthetic that I struggle with because it's not something that I grew up with or have any reference to. But I've seen it so much on people's videos or on like real estate shows and stuff that I kind of wanted to see if I could incorporate it and pull it off a little bit. I'm now moving to the outside. I'm just seeing if I have everything on the inside, and I was like, what do I do with this backyard? So first and foremost, I wanted to add like this new beautiful tree. I think it also came with the werewolves pack, or maybe this is the one from the base game. I don't remember. But I wanted to have some tree with some lights. I thought that looked really cool. And then I accidentally found this thing in debug, the little sort of cookery pot that you could use outside. I was like, heck, that is so good for a sim that loves to fish, but also likes to be like in nature and cook out. And I'm not sure if that object is actually functional, but I definitely want to see if it is. So I really like that. I always add a bike in front of my builds. That's like my signature item. Being a Dutchie and all, I completely despise cycling. I really don't like it. But I felt like it would make sense to add a bicycle because it kind of looks good, and eventually it's going to be very nice if our sim needs to get their fun up, because a bicycle is a very easy way to do that. So, you know, it's kind of like cheating without cheating, if that makes any sense. This is where I tried to figure out the bedroom. I remember like endlessly going back and forth. It like sped up. It doesn't seem that long, but it felt really long trying to decide what I wanted the color scheme for this room to be. I eventually settled on the whole blue scheme, kind of thinking that it was the ocean or the water, but I feel like this room might have turned out a little bit too decorated for the aesthetic that I was going for the house, and also for the storyline. I feel like it doesn't quite match. I feel like the bed definitely does, and I think the rug as well. But I end up like using a very, very fancy mirror and end up using a open wardrobe with like hanging clothes and stuff. I'm not really sure if that fits with the sim that we made or with the storyline that we're trying to tell here. So I might end up changing it to one of the wardrobes that you see right now. I think they fit as well, but I decided not to use them for some reason. I think because this one just fit a little bit better in that corner. But I was thinking maybe if I really start playing with it, I'm gonna switch up this room. As you can see, like this grand mirror and the plant that I will add next to it in a second. I'm not sure. I feel like it's a little bit too manicured for the type of story that we're trying to tell, so I might swap it out. But it does look really cute, and I mean, it's the aesthetic that I would go for in my own house as well. Here I'm just adding some bookcases and trying to do some final decorations on this room, trying to make it look good, like some details, because a lot of the build was looking a little bit bland, a little bit empty. So I tried to add some fun details like a painting on the wall and like an open book, because our sim loves to read. And I think that's kind of what I want to tell you guys about this build today. I will add some nice screenshots at the end of the video so you can get some more detailed shot. Feel free to leave some suggestions down below if you like it, and I will see you on the actual first episode of the challenge.